All right, y'all, we have got to talk about something that is pretty gross. It's been a weekend of pretty gross. Well, we got some more work to do because it turns out the Democrats couldn't be undone. They couldn't be outdone by themselves. So now we've got to do a little bit of action and show you what's actually happening and how they're manipulating the political assassination for their own means through political games against the Republicans. Guys, what I'm about to show you is the other side of the monster that sits right behind the mask as it slips. We're going to dive into the political advantages that they're trying to do. They're trying to take full advantage and put Republicans in a gotcha space because they need that gun control bill named after Charlie Kirk. They are actively politicizing a political assassination in order to take more rights from people or get political favor by trapping Republicans. Guys, when I say the word ghouls, I mean the word ghouls. Now, we're going to dive into all of this because we're going to save the nation together. We are. I know we are. Because there is an exact turning point. We just saw it, and we're only moving forward. So, if you're down with that mission, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, guys. We are hitting and connecting on something, and we can make a real difference. So please consider doing that. All right, let's get into this, guys. I see all of you in here. That is awesome, amazing. All right. You can follow everything I've got right here for you. It's either in the description box below. I always bring the receipts, or it's on my X profile at Braden LOA. All right, please send this one out. Leave emojis, comments, chats, everything. All right. I debated if I was going to do a live on this one or if I was going to do a recorded video on this one. And I went with live because I wanted to get y'all's real-time feedback. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to try my very best to control the delivery on this because this is about a thought leader on the right who sparked a civil rights movement in 2025, very similar to 1968. So it's a little like close to home to all of us, but I've got to show you what the people are doing, and they're taking full manipulation against you, the people, we, the people. Everything about this political assassination, which was perpetrated by a lefty, and now they're trying to weaponize that to take further rights from people. Guys, this is beyond gross. Let's just get into it. Please send this one out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. All right. This first one, and I'm going to ramp these up. Okay. This is a leftist account, a very asinine leftist account. Quote, "Now is the time for Democrats to introduce strict gun control laws and call it the Charlie Kirk Gun Control Act. Let the Republicans object to that." All right. Let me translate that out for you. I'm going to leave it on screen for just, political impact. Productive impact. What that means is put forward a bill and call it the Charlie Kirk Gun Control Act. Put all of our gun control goodies in there from the left. Then, when the Republicans see that bill on the floor and they don't vote on it, you as a Democrat get to spout off and say that the Republicans don't care about anybody, just like they don't care about Charlie Kirk. This is the Charlie Kirk Gun Control Act. Why would you not care about Charlie Kirk? That's exactly what this is. This is very, very nefarious behavior because this is politicizing a political assassination through the legislative process in order to get Democrats in a position to go gotcha on Republicans, again, manipulating off of a political assassination. One of which was so horrible, and on top of that, they were dancing and literally on TikTok to the point where they're getting fired by the thousands. Yeah, this right here is what they're doing. So if you thought the people dancing online and making celebratory videos and smiling and doing all these things was bad, the Democrats are openly asking and requesting this exact same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. That's why we are going to actively just push these people to the dustbin of history because it's disgusting. And it's better for us to deal with it than our offspring. All right, listen, here we go. Brian Krasenstein, another little example of greatness. "I challenge a Democrat to put this bill forth for a vote, the Charlie Kirk Act on Gun Violence in the House of Representatives." Well, isn't that interesting that Brian Krasenstein this morning and this guy, Alex Cole, did the exact same talking point? It's almost like it was a memo that went out. Guys, they are orchestrated. They are manipulating a political assassination. Let's continue. Maybe I'm off base. Gun Owners of America, Democrat congressional candidate Martin announces his intent to introduce the Charlie Kirk Gun Safety Act to expand unconstitutional background checks and enact a federal gun confiscation law. It's weird because I'm not a, Sherlock of any means, but if one morning this mainline progressive account does it, and then this one does it, And then you've got a Democrat who does it. And in fact, I've got the actual tweet right here. This is official as of 4:13 p.m. yesterday. This is yesterday afternoon. Here's the language. I will be introducing the Melissa Hortman / Charlie Kirk Gun Safety Act to mandate federal background checks to purchase a firearm. We also need red flag laws, more penalties for political violence, and more funding for mental health programs. Too many lives have been lost. These are the people. What you're witnessing right now is more of the same. It's manipulation of emotional tragedy and standing on the graves of those that suffer at the hands of leftists while they are actively sitting there saying that we need gun control to prevent more leftists from doing the things that they do. And by the way, I'm not even into the new transistor radio data that just dropped today. That's going to come on another video. It's so crucial that we stay plugged into this, guys. This is massively important because this is how you beat these people. You fully expose them. Please send this out. All right. Now let's get into another account. And I will jump into the super chats in a second and all the comments. Thank you for flying with the emojis. If you're just now tuning in, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. If you want to politically defeat these people, this is the place to be, baby, because we are motivated. All right, listen. We're going to jump into another channel. This is Politics Girl. Now, this one I'm going to put a trigger warning on this one because this is a full-on video of doing something that the left really loves to do, condescend to you. So there's this element of elitism. There's this element of condescension, of arrogance that comes through and oozes from every single far-left progressive and Democrat that pretty much exists. There's not really one that doesn't do it. It's kind of like their common vernacular. But this girl in particular is really, really good at it. But let her lecture you on all the bad things about Charlie Kirk and also how we should talk about gun violence, not about the fact that a leftist transistor radio is the one that actually killed it. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's get into this before I get banned on YouTube or something. Let's just go.
So, hi. I didn't know anything. And since my channel was created not to report the news, but to make sense of it, I felt like the only responsible thing to do was to wait until there was more information. It now appears that the person who shot and killed right-wing political commentator Charlie Kirk was like the majority of shooters in America, a young white male from a conservative pro-gun religious background. After being told for 2 straight days that the left...
I'm going to pause that real quick for you right there for a second. This is one of the things that's really important to understand. What she's doing is she's going down the exact normal route that you'd expect for a leftist. You can't go anywhere about who did it unless it's a white Christian male, in which case, oh my God, Christo-national fascist. Easy peasy, which happens to be by the same language that was on the bullets in the gun. But don't worry about that. Completely unrelated, right? All right, let's continue. So, what she's doing here is she's committing to the cause. And this is why you're seeing all of these channels on the left do this. They cannot separate themselves from the far left progressives or they lose 30 to 40% of their audience. Same thing as the Democrats. That's what they've been struggling with for the past probably about 9 months. They can't separate the far left cancer inside their own party because if they do, they'll basically lose 30 to 40% and then they'll lose the moderates if they don't. So they're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't. So that's why she's doing this. She can't go down the road of anything other than this because then she would not be fulfilling her obligation to her audience. All right? And again, I see on the super chats, I'll get to those in 1 second. That's just the intro. But remember, if you keep taking notes at home, it's all you white nationalist Christians. That's who it is. Yeah, yep, let's keep going.
Had declared war on America, that the shooter was most likely trans, or in Congresswoman Nancy Mace's words, pro-tranny. After the Wall Street Journal published an article they had to later walk back, that the bullets had a pro-trans message because it turned out to be just the markings of one of the world's biggest ammunition factories, they were wrong. We still...
All right, just for kicks and giggles. No. Actually, according to Reporting Day, which we will do full follow-up videos on because this will all see the light of day. I will not let it die, at least at my account. Just on what was released today, it turns out this was a pro-transistor radio individual because their roommate and intimate partner was a radio as well as a furry. That's weird. Well, we were wrong though. Yeah, turns out the delete button is going to be real handy pretty soon because wait until we show you what we got for tomorrow. All right, let's keep on going. We got more from her.
Don't know the motivation for the killing, but we will find out more in the coming days. But here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to put it in context because I think the biggest takeaways we have right now are the following. We have a gun problem in America.
Oh,
People who are unhappy have easy access to high-powered firearms to take their unhappiness out on others.
we're going to come over here again real quick. All right, so here's the little irony of this, because I just happen to be an expert in the gun field and the gun policy and the gun control field. Everything that this lovely, esteemed lady is bringing forward as an argument as her common sense gun reform would not have had any effect at all on a hunting rifle. You know, the ones that the Democrats say they all use because they're hunters just like you. Yeah, a bolt action 4-round holding count magazine in a Mauser. That's none of the special little buttons. That's not a Glock switch. That's not an AR. That's not a full auto. That's not an assault weapon. That's nothing. That is literally the thing that they say is not a danger to anybody. But guys, we have a gun violence problem. Not a transistor radio problem. Not a murder problem. Not an extremely violent, rhetorically, good Lord, nope. Rhetoric-driven left for 10 years of feeding a constant stream of negativity and, you know, everyone's a Nazi and fascist. No, not that. Not that. We have a bolt action problem. Okay, let's just keep going because she's got more.
The 2 children who were shot in school the same day Kirk died were shot by a 16-year-old who had been radicalized online by white supremacist groups and had easy access to a handgun. After years of being told by our own law enforcement, including the FBI, that the majority of domestic terrorism is perpetrated by white extremist groups who are the greatest threat to our national security, we have done absolutely nothing but allow those groups to flourish and grow. Charlie Kirk himself was one of the people who grew that movement. You only need to talk to the Black women and minority groups and marginalized groups or immigrants he personally targeted to get a firsthand account, or look back on any of his speeches or comments or debates to see that white Christian misogynistic narrative that he was preaching.
Well, goodness gracious. Politics girl delivering like always, even though she's not a girl and she sucks at politics. Yeah, it's interesting how the Christian nationalist misogynistic preaching that he was doing, but they need all the gun control that they need, even though it wouldn't apply in this case. They were wrong about the transistor radios, even though we were right. And we were wrong about all the anti-fascist Antifa scribblings on the projectiles. Yeah, you're nailing this. And this is where I bring this whole thing all around forward again. This is the entire point. These people are standing openly on a political assassination that happened 4 days ago in order to A, besmirch the name of the individual who was politically assassinated, which is inspiring actual movements nationally and globally. But you can't have him be a martyr because then it's damaging to your narrative. It's damaging to your political movement on the left. So what you do is you set little traps for the Republicans by doing Charlie Kirk gun control acts and then letting the Republicans say that's insane. That's not even what Charlie Kirk would support. And then you make it a big twisted narrative of even Republicans won't go anywhere near this gun control act. They must not care for common sense gun reform. They must not care for Charlie Kirk. And it's all a big sham. That's exactly what they just put forward. This guy right here, if you're just now tuning in, this is an exact Democrat saying he's going to do it. Guys, one of the ways that you have to understand that when we defeat these people, the way we have to do it is you have to expose it. You have to rip the mask right off and show the monster. From the people who are dancing and celebrating about political assassinations, which is destroying the Democrat brand from within, all the way to the Democrats in office who are manipulating a political tragedy, one that is akin to Martin Luther King Jr., honest to God. That's what you're dealing with. But let me get to these super chats real quick because I always try to get them in timely manners. So let me hit them real quick and then we'll kind of recoalesce on the other side. Brian, good to get a notification for once. Let the libs keep putting holes in their foot. Oh man, at this point, it's like bazookas in their feet. I mean, good God, this is so asinine. Fred Samuel, call your representatives and tell them to stop this in committee. Well, the fact is, it's not even going to get to a committee, Fred. What's going to happen is they're going to do it on the floor. It's never going to get pulled into a committee. They're going to try a discharge petition, and then they're going to do the exact same thing. That's exactly what they're going to do. Zeke Zion, $10 super chat, says, long live free speech, open debate, and long live Charlie Kirk. God bless all of you. Yep. We're all Charlie Kirk now, baby. They took one and made him into 10 million. Jeremy Willis for the $10 super chat. Love how the gloss over the last couple of years where he was radicalized, only focusing on his childhood. Well, the other stuff doesn't work for the narrative, Jeremy. JR Pestle with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Braden. Thank you, JR. I appreciate it very much. And that is one more super chat. Oh, two more. Hold on a second. David Pirtle with the $10. I think Facebook is screwing around. Keep trying to share it. It keeps posting your Magpul title under it. I have no idea what's going on. I don't even mess with Facebook. And last super chat, Jesus Penis, 50 or $5 rather. I literally commented on a past video to correct her on what well-regulated means, well-trained and disciplined by late Justice Scalia, Heller versus DC. Absolutely correct. And here's the thing that we're going to wrap this up, guys, because the thing that I want to drive home, and I hope I'm landing the plane on this, and please send this stuff out. Everything's linked in the description. You are seeing the individuals who are on the other side of this debacle. They have spent, I showed you a video today where they spent 10 years ramping up the rhetoric and asking and begging for violence. Then Nancy Pelosi comes out and says, well, we can't be held responsible for what people interpret our words for, which is literally a crock of crap. Then you have all of the actual celebrations and parties that are happening on Blue Sky and X and Instagram celebrating the political assassination of Charlie Kirk. And then you have the Democrats now, the mainline progressives, who are getting the talking points and going out and say, put forth the Charlie Kirk Gun Control Act. And I see, you see me, by the way, the camera just decided to have an aneurysm. The bottom line on this, guys, as the camera decides to have a, thing, please send this stuff out. We've got to beat these people on the merits of politics, and we're going to. We're going to save our country, and I will see you guys on the next one, hopefully where the camera is not doing what it's doing right now.